President Trump eager to get back on the campaign trail after his COVID-19 diagnosis.
Just saw the doctors today. They think I'm in great shape.
On Fox News last night, the president refused to say if he's been tested again for the coronavirus, and he hopes to hold a rally this weekend.
But we want to do a rally in Florida, probably in Florida on Saturday night. Might come back and do one in Pennsylvania in the following night.
But CDC guidelines recommend coronavirus patients be isolated for at least 14 days. The doctor's statement included the president's blood pressure and heart rate, but the White House is still refusing to give specific details about the president's prognosis, including when he last tested negative.
I can't reveal that at this time. The doctors would like to keep it private.
The fate of the next presidential debate remains unclear. The debate commission announced it will be held virtually, but the president now wants an in-person face-off.
Now, I'm not going to do a virtual debate, sit behind a computer screen.
The Trump team agreed to delay the next debate until October 22nd, but only if it's face-to-face and if another debate is added October 29th. The Biden team rejected that idea, saying the 29th is too late. Biden will now participate in a town hall hosted by ABC News next Thursday, which was the original date of the next debate.
Tropical storm conditions are already lashing parts of the Gulf Coast. Hurricane Delta, currently a Category 2 hurricane, is set to make landfall tonight.
Hurricane Laura devastated the same area just 6 weeks ago. And now the big concern is all the debris that's scattered across neighborhoods, which could turn into projectiles when the storm hits tonight.
The folks that live in this house left, and that's good because they expect 9 feet of inundation here. That would cover the whole first floor of their home. And they're not alone. This is called Delcom, the Delcom Canal right here. It is one of hundreds of rivers and bayous. More than 300 miles of this coastline are preparing for storm surge.
New fallout after the chilling alleged plot to storm the Michigan State House, then kidnap and possibly kill Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Charges have been brought against 13 members of 2 militia groups. The Trump campaign is slamming the governor after she called the president complicit in the alleged plot.
If we want to talk about hatred, then Governor Whitmer, go look in the mirror. I mean, the fact that she wakes up every day with such hatred in her heart towards President Trump.
What should the president be saying right now?
You know what? A decent human being would pick up the phone and say, "Are you okay? How's your family doing?" That's what a decent human being does. That's what Joe Biden did. And I think it tells you everything you need to know about the character of the 2 people that are vying to lead our country for the next 4 years.
A second night of protests over the police shooting of a black teenager near Milwaukee has ended with more arrests. Demonstrators broke curfew, outraged after the district attorney decided not to file charges against the officer. The family of 17-year-old Alvin Cole says his mother and sister were among those arrested. Investigators say Cole was killed after refusing to drop a gun.
Today, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announced a bill to create a commission on presidential capacity that would potentially judge the mental or physical fitness of a sitting president and determine if there's a need for a transfer of power. Pelosi says the recent coronavirus diagnosis from President Trump proves the importance of having safety measures in place.
A president's fitness for office must be determined by science and facts. This legislation applies to future presidents.
The 17-person panel would include the sitting vice president, plus 8 former executive branch members and 8 medical professionals chosen equally by congressional Democrats and Republicans.
More layoffs in the entertainment industry. Warner Media, which has been hit hard by the pandemic, is expected to lay off thousands of workers. The company, which includes HBO and Warner Brothers, is reportedly looking to cut costs by up to 20%.
The greatest players in baseball's most successful team has died.
Edward Ford was born in New York City, but in becoming the most decorated pitcher in the history of the New York Yankees, he was known as Whitey. The 91-year-old's death Friday was the 3rd passing of a Hall of Fame pitcher in the last 6 weeks after Tom Seaver and Bob Gibson. Ford won his first of 6 World Series titles as a 21-year-old rookie in 1950. He played 16 Major League seasons, all with the New York Yankees, despite a 2-year interruption for Korean War military service. Whitey Ford retired as the Yankees' career leader in strikeouts and wins.
A credit research firm says nearly 4,000 companies in Japan went bankrupt between April and September. It says the number was actually down from the same period last year, as some firms were able to secure government aid amid the pandemic. Teikoku Databank says a total of 3,956 companies with debts of at least 10 million yen began legal liquidation procedures in the first half of the fiscal year. That's a drop of 5.2% from the same period in 2019. The researchers say the bankruptcy figure fell below 4,000 for the first time since the second half of the fiscal year of 2004. They say government support packages to deal with the coronavirus, such as interest-free and unsecured loans, helped prevent bankruptcies. Looking at bankruptcies directly linked to the impact of the coronavirus, the research firm says 598 firms went under between February and October 8th. The researchers warn there's still a risk that bankruptcies will rise if the firms that sought financial assistance cannot recover their profitability. NHK has learned that Toshiba Corporation plans to commercialize its next-generation cryptographic technology in the next fiscal year. Quantum cryptography for communications is impossible to break even by super-fast quantum computers. Sources familiar with the project say the Japanese company plans to offer the technology as a way to keep networks secure. Toshiba has already formed a partnership with Britain's telecom firm BT and is in final talks with a major U.S. telecom company. The tie-ups are aimed at giving Toshiba the world's top market share. Experts fear that once super-fast quantum computers become widely available, current encryption standards could be easily cracked. Global competition is escalating as the unbreakable quantum cryptography is essential not only for private businesses but also for national security. Tens of thousands of people across Indonesia have taken to the streets to protest a new law they say threatens labor rights. Demonstrators in Jakarta clashed with police, who fired tear gas to disperse the crowds. Protesters, including labor organization members and students, are demanding the repeal of an omnibus jobs creation law the parliament enacted on Monday. The government says the legislation will help attract foreign investment to the country through a review of labor standards. The labor group said it undermines workers' rights by cutting severance pay and shifting wage calculation from monthly to hourly.
The new law makes people miserable, especially the lower income communities.
A police spokesperson says about 1,000 protesters were detained in the capital. World Athletics President Sebastian Coe has inspected the main stadium for the Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics. It's his first visit to Japan since the Games were postponed until next year. The head of the international governing body for track and field visited the national stadium in Tokyo on Thursday. Coe said the stadium is sustainable and beautifully designed and will encourage athletes to perform at their highest level.
We are absolutely committed to working with the organizing committee for the delivery of a fantastic Games. We will also be supportive of the organizing committee in anything that we need to do.
Later in the day, Coe met with the president of the Tokyo Organizing Committee, Mori Yoshiro. Coe proposed the national stadium should also be used as the venue for the World Athletics Championships. Coe also met with Minister for the Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics, Hashimoto Seiko. She expressed determination to make the Games a success by drawing on her own experience as an athlete. Hashimoto represented Japan at 7 Olympics as a speed skater and track cyclist. She won a skating bronze medal in France in 1992.